Hey, this is John with Denaway Woodcrafting. It's a little tutorial on how to put together one of my exploding banks. If you purchased one or received one as a gift, thank you. But what's going to happen is you're going to see it, and when it's shipped to you, you're going to have it in parts. First thing you're going to do is it'll be in pieces like this. There is a staple right here holding this arm down. Nothing works unless you take that staple out. So you're going to want to use a pair of pliers or something. Pull that staple out that holds this arm, and then you're going to be ready to go. As you can see, there's multiple parts. You have a short piece or an end piece with a pin. You've got a side piece with a short pin, another end piece, another side piece, they each no pins. Then you have your coin slot top. Easiest thing for me when I assemble this thing is you have to put the trap together first. Now just be careful, there's a pinch hazard here. As you can see, you wouldn't want your finger in there. But you're going to pull the arm back. You're going to flip the lever over. Now it's spring loaded, so you're going to want to hold that real good with one finger or two. Bring the arm over. There's a little slot in the back of this little paddle here where the trap is. And you want that to hook underneath there. And once it's hooked, you can apply less pressure, and let go, and then your trap is set, okay? It's real important, don't have your fingers anywhere around that yellow tab. That's where that pinch hazard is, okay? Then I always start with the pins. Now this one on the end piece, it's rather long, but it's kind of centered. So that one can just sit in the groove near where the arm and the spring is. That's the side you want to put it on. You don't want to put it over on the yellow side. Nothing will happen. So make sure you put the pin over on the spring loaded side. Okay, so that end piece goes in there. Now the next one is kind of tricky. It's a side piece with a short pin. You can see how much shorter it is than the other one. This needs to go down. See how it's closer to this edge than it is to this edge. You want the pin that's closest to this edge down. So you're going to want to flip it around to where it's closer to the spring. If you do make the mistake and it's flipped over to where it's way up in the air, it will still work, it just doesn't have that nice explosion. So get it real low, as you can see right here. It's real close to that spring. And then just go ahead and assemble the other parts. It's pretty self-explanatory where the long sides go and where the short ones go. Now upside down, it really doesn't matter, they're all cut the same. So what you have is you got a little box here. Sometimes they flail around and they kind of drive you crazy. I've had a lot of practice, but I kind of hold it together. This slot needs to go directly over the yellow tab. It needs to go directly over because that's your coin. When it drops through, it's going to trigger that tab, and that's what sets the explosion. So you really have to make sure it's over the yellow tab. So you're going to put this together like that. And what I do is I take the section with the tab and I kind of hook and lay this in on there, and it should be wobbly. It's supposed to be this way because the only way for it to really explode is if everything's kind of loose. And as you can see, it's set up. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show what it does, and then I'm going to take it apart. Well, obviously it'll be apart because it exploded, and I'll put it back together again. So that, take a quarter. Quarters work best. They have the decent amount of weight. That's why the slot is so big. Make sure you use a quarter. It's the greatest. And drop it in. As you can see, boom. It's great. I love it. What I'll do now, I'm going to put it together again for you. I pull the arm back. I pull the spring back and hold it real snug and pull the arm back over the top. Then I hook it underneath this little slot here where the tab is, and I let go. Real simple. This time I'll kind of half put it together so you can kind of see in the video what it looks like when it explodes. Okay, I'm going to omit that side so you guys can kind of see what's going on here. And so I'm going to kind of put this together. This is a little more difficult without having that side on there. Okay, you should be able to see inside here. And what's going to happen, drop the coin in. Great, right? Biggest thing, this thing has a lot of spring. You do not want your fingers over here. That's where the pinch hazard is, and it hurts. I've tested it, it hurts. Again, pull it back. Make sure this arm is back. Once you pull this back, the arm goes over the top and gets hooked in this little slot. I flip this up with my finger. It makes it a lot easier to hook it. Okay, it's set, ready to go. Don't put your fingers anywhere near there. I'll flip this around and kind of do it the opposite way now. Long pin in. Remember, the short pin needs to be closer to the bottom of the spring side. Put my sides in. And then my end should look like that. The slot goes over the yellow tab. Okay, should be loose. That's what you're looking for. This is exactly what you want to see. Best way to approach it, just tell somebody, hey, could you do me a favor? Drop this, put this in there for me. Bam. Oh, it's great. I love these things. I haven't had anybody hurt yet. Biggest problem you're going to have is if somebody wants to stick their finger in there while you're setting a trap. That's probably the biggest danger of this. You don't want anybody's face near here when it explodes. What I'll do real quick is I'll go ahead and show you what happens if you assemble it incorrectly. Okay, so we'll go ahead and set the trap. See, that's why you don't want your fingers in there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to put this on the right side because sometimes this pin ends up near the top, and you'll see that it'll still work. It's just not that great of an explosion, if you will. It's not as exciting, but if it's something you worry about somebody getting hurt or whatnot, maybe this would be the way to go with smaller children. But you'll see right now it's on the top. So it's not as grand of an explosion, but it still works just fine. The biggest thing is if you don't put the coin slot over the top of this tab, you'll drop the coin in and nothing will happen. You'll have to take it apart, get the quarter out safely because this will still be set. And have fun. That's the biggest part of it. You're going to get a lot of laughs, a lot of screams. I love it. You can't own enough of these things. And thanks again, and talk to you soon.